In today's society, we are surrounded by lies and deception. It can be seen in the TV we watch, such as the show Punk'd, or the music we listen to, and even the people we surround ourselves with. According to Bergan, the founder of interpersonal deception theory, deception is present in 1/4 to 1/3 of all conversations. Lies and deception didn't just become a popular thing within communication, but rather it has been around for many years. Hi, my name is Rachel Swain, and I'm going to be talking about the interpersonal deception theory. I will be talking about where is the first scene, and then I'll go into the actual theory and some of the assumptions along with it. First, I will talk about the history of it. The ancient art of deception, which dates back to ancient Egypt, is the oldest form of successful deception. According to Lauren E. Schwartzwalter, a graduate of the University of North Dakota, the oldest recorded story of magic is dated 3766 BC, when Egyptian wizard Tekna M. Ankh performed for King Canute. This evidence was discovered within the Westcar Papyrus. This wizard was able to perform amazing theatrics by the use of deception. While this is the earliest case of deception, it probably has been around since the beginning of mankind. Schwartzwalter also states the steps that go into creating this drama of the magic show that the wizards and these magicians used in that time. Stage 1. Decides what magical feats need to be accomplished. Stage 2. Determine which performance techniques are required to achieve the desired feats. Stage 3. Consider which of the premeditated theatrical elements must be employed to execute the performance techniques needed for the deception. Deception has grown beyond the use of distractions within the magician's theatrics, and is now used in everyday conversation. It is important to understand the different theories going on in your communication, so we can improve upon them. Now we will switch over to the theory of interpersonal deception, to understand how deception plays a role in our communication. According to Levine, a writer of the Encyclopedia of Deception, interpersonal deception theory, IDT, is a mid-range theory developed by David Buller and Judy Bergan to depict and explain the process of encoding and decoding deceptive messages in interpersonal encounters. Some examples that fall into this theory are self-delusion, role-playing, and transmission of false information. Anything that makes you appear as though you are not falls within this category. Bergan, who was the developer of the theory, wrote, "As a micro-level theory, IDT presents some high-level propositions that are statements of functional relationships rather than directional ones." He also states that the original development of IDT was instigated by the belief that interactive deception differs from non-interactive deception. And the very first IDT proposition features interactivity, so the construct is a central one that has been discussed at the length in the deception of IDT. Now that you have got a feel for the theory of interpersonal deception, we're going to talk about some of the assumptions that go into that theory. Rather than emphasizing what happens within a person, interpersonal deception explains what happens between people. According to Levine, communication is an interdependent activity that both sender and receiver are active parts of the construction of deceptive interchanges. Interdependent implies that receivers influence sender cognitions and behavior, and vice versa, making deceptive signals not just the product of what the sender is experiencing, but also how the interlocutor's communication affects the sender. IDT makes other assumptions about deception, such as that it may elevate arousal, activate certain emotional states, and place more demands on the memory and cognitive process. For example, this can be seen when producing a false or misleading message. These messages first require the person know what is truthful, and then mentally editing it in their mind so that some parts are true and some parts are false. So when you are saying something that is a lie, there are parts that are truthful. You just have switched it in your brain in order to make it not true. Something can be true, but if you're exaggerating it, that can be deception. According to Dubar et al., interpersonal communication par excellence occurs when people interact on the basis of their personal characteristic, example, temperament, and mood, and where their membership in different social categories is interactively irrelevant. This can be seen within the theory of deception too. You will change the way you use deception by the context in which they appear and the behavior of those around them. Now that we know the context within the theory of interpersonal deception, we can move on to the differences between the different types of deception and finding out when deception is a bad thing. Is deception always a bad thing? Some may say honesty is the best policy, but this is not always true. Some people use deception as a method to avoid conflict and hurt feelings. Dubar also states, there may also be discrepancies between what different people consider to be deceptive and what people expect about honesty depending on their interactual partners. When you're in a serious relationship, one of the most important things in a relationship is honesty. If you are keeping something from your partner, you are being deceptive. On the other hand, if your friend asks if they look fat in that outfit, you don't want to say yes because that is rude. So that is being deceptive by the means of avoiding hurt feelings. Some lies can be seen as more acceptable and less deceptive than others. In a study, college students were asked to answer some questions to differentiate between the rights and wrongs of deception. One example they used was one roommate, Rosa, breaks the laptop of another by the name of Amy. Rosa honestly gives Amy money for the computer either because Rosa accidentally broke Amy's computer without her knowledge, or Rosa generally wanted to help. In this example, you can see the different levels of deception, one being more acceptable than the other. So the one that is more acceptable is she generally felt bad and just wanted to help her roommate because she accidentally broke the computer. The other one that is not is she never told Amy that she broke the computer and she just didn't want to tell her that she did. Deception is not a thing that just started out of nowhere. It has been with us throughout the years since the beginning of time. Only recently were we able to put a theory to this deception. With the help of David Buller and Judy Burgon, we were able to depict and explain the process of encoding and decoding deceptive messages in interpersonal encounters. Along with this theory, there are many assumptions that help us understand why deception happens and what affects it. Through research, we have found that the context of situation and the behavior of those around us affects our use of deception. We have also learned that deception is not black and white, and certain uses of deception are more acceptable than others because of the situation that stems from. By learning more about deception and how it affects communication, we can now more easily pinpoint and learn how to control it. Thank you.